Welcome back to Redneck Survival. So, it's been a while since I actually was able to get a video and stuff done. So, I said in a prior video about as far as like doing vehicles, getting like a breakdown kit, emergency kit, or a bug out set up in there. I am still going to get one of those done. It's hopefully going to be here within the next couple weeks. But getting back into things, I figured hitting base on communications is a good way to start because one of the things about communications is it is a priority in everyday life and especially in certain situations, emergency situations, stuff like that. Now, yes, everybody has a cell phone, or most everybody has a cell phone. Obviously, the functions are pretty much the same stuff, but the only difference really with cell phones is you have a more closed off network. It is more direct, one to person. With walkie-talkies and ham radios, CBs, they are more of an open communication stuff. Anybody that has one of those devices that are within the range of it are able to hear anything that is said. So I do not have one of the actual CBs at the moment. I am looking into getting one of those at some point. But what I do have is my handheld walkie-talkies and a couple of my hams. So starting off with the walkie-talkies, I do have two different versions here, both Cobras. One of the smaller models and stuff. Now these ones are basically just your base model walkie-talkies. They have the regular push to talk and they have the weather, emergency weather channel, broadcast station, whatever you want to call it. These ones, they do have port on top to set up with the earpiece and stuff. The ones I have here actually have the earpiece. They also have the flashlight on. So it's a little bit more. These also have the sub channels. Now the sub channels are basically, it's kind of, I guess, making it more of a option. So these ones here, they just have like your basic channels, like I think it's 1 through 22 or something like that. So, or these ones here, they have the basic channels and then they have the sub channels. The sub channels is basically sets to where you can go, like if you're on say channel 3, you can have 3, and then I'm not really sure exactly what they're called. I just call them sub channels. At the bottom corner, it'll give you the other number for. It's basically separating that channel so multiple people could be on through. If they're just going through, they're not going to pick up your broadcast right off. Now, both of these options, I do have rechargeable batteries in both of them. My smaller ones run off of AAA, larger ones are AA. When it comes to recharging these ones, like I said, I do have rechargeables in them, so I can literally just grab the cord, plug it into the wall outlet, and charge them up. If I do not have a wall outlet accessible, which with the wall outlet, obviously you have the regular box. Now, if you do not have a wall outlet accessible, then having something like a pocket juice or even a portable generator or the adapter for your cigarette lighter and stuff like that, you can charge them all off of that. If you do have a wall outlet available and you want to charge up more than just 2 radios, if you want to charge up, say, your backup batteries, then having an actual battery charger that you can just plug into the wall is a good option to have. This one actually has the indicator lights on it, so it tells you whether they're dead, half charged, full charged. When this one is fully charged, this one actually beeps at you. Now, as far as the walkie-talkies go, there is multiple uses for them. Some people use them for social events, some people use them for businesses, hunting. Obviously, kids like me, myself, when I was younger, I used to use them with friends, brother, stuff like that, just out messing around. But cases where these would actually come in handy is if you are actually in the event of a natural disaster or something like that, or even severe weather. If you're in a situation to where, even if you're out working in the yard or whatever, if you're far enough distance to where you don't want to be yelling across the yard or yelling across the house or whatever, or if somebody's in the house and somebody else is out working around the yard and stuff like that, the uses are basically almost endless. However, situations could arise for them to be used, even if you're out hiking and stuff like that, and decide if you want to split trails or something, or if you're out camping and somebody decides to stay at camp, somebody else decides to go grab firewood or go try to fish for some dinner or something like that, you have the communication. Like, you don't have to be right on top of each other trying to do everything or trying to yell through the woods or whatever. Now, if you are in an area to where, or a far enough distance away to where a regular walkie-talkie does not do the job that you're wanting to do, you need a farther range or anything, CBs are another option to have. Like I said, I do not have one of those available at the moment, but they're another option to have. They're basically a step up from the regular walkie-talkies. Again, they are open frequency. They are also a further open range. They have the standard antenna on the portable models. Like a regular walkie-talkie and stuff, it gives you a little bit more range. Or they actually have the antennas that you can literally sit on your car or sit outside or whatever. It'll give you a wider distance range. A step up from the CB is actually the ham radios. Now, a ham radio is one that it actually is required to have a license to broadcast over these. I myself, I use them just for listening and stuff. I would like to actually have my ham radio license at some point, but at the current moment, I do not. So they are just a listening device. Now, as for the ham radios go, the difference between CBs, walkie-talkies, and ham radios, they all do have their own kind of frequency. So you could not broadcast from a walkie and be picked up on a ham. You could not broadcast from a walkie and be picked up on a CB. Vice versa as through the rest. You cannot broadcast from the CB or the ham radio and be picked up on the walkie. The CBs and the ham radios do not broadcast together. As far as the ham radios go, these actually have a little bit more of a variety of options. These actually also have the flashlight on them, along with an FM radio. Now, as far as listening or broadcasting with these, if you have your license and stuff, they will give you basically how do you operate them and stuff like that, because there actually is a procedure with operating these. There is designated channels for amateur radio operators, which that is a whole nother video I will get into at some point. If you guys want me to get more in depth with any of this, I will be glad to make another video on individual radios or their uses or anything like that. If there's anything that I did not add in that you guys would like me to put into maybe a future video, if I cover one of these, feel free to do so. As far as the ham radios and the walkie-talkies, the CBs and stuff like that goes, they all do have an option to where you can plug in like a headset. So if you are having a communicate or a conversation that you do not want somebody else in your immediate vicinity to hear somebody else, then you can actually use these. Like, for instance, the ham radios, they are used for broadcasting for more towards like emergency services and like that. So you can actually pick one of these up, and if you put the channels in, you can actually listen into like the fire department and stuff like that. If there is something going on that, say, you're in your house and you do not want anybody else in your household to actually listen in on, you can use the headset option to where it is literally just you. You don't have to worry about anybody else hearing it, anybody else getting into a panic. Now, if you want to carry these with you, like the walkie-talkies, they do have the clips on the back. If you want the option that you don't want to use the clip and stuff, there is the holster options. These actually, I took mine off, but these actually come with like a clip to where you can actually hang it all around your neck. Like a carabiner, or not a carabiner, a lance or whatever you want to call it. As far as recharging these go, you can get, like, order the backup batteries and stuff like that. The batteries actually do come in a variety of sizes. Obviously, for longer lasting battery, you can get the larger ones. Or if you are going with the option for the holster, then the smaller option is actually more recommended, because they do not really like to fit in the holster with the bigger battery. If you are looking to recharge, the larger batteries actually have a port on the side to where you can actually plug a power cord into them. The smaller ones, actually, I do not believe that they have that option. These are literally just for on the base charge. If you want to have an easier option for programming the ham radios, then you can use a laptop. And I do not have the cord with me at the moment, but there is a wire that you can actually order that you can plug right from the laptop to the radio, and then you can get the software to actually program in the frequencies and stuff like that to actually pick up the broadcasting you want to use. Having rechargeable batteries and walkie-talkies, or having spare battery packs for the ham radios and stuff like that, is always a good option to have. However, if you do not have a place to recharge at the current moment, and you just need to get like an extra couple hours or a little bit farther distance and stuff to where you can get, say, if you're just trying to get back to camp or back home or wherever it is you're trying to get, so you can manage to recharge them devices, having some spare backup batteries is always good to have. As far as just having backup batteries, they do not have to be rechargeable. You don't have to have rechargeable batteries in a period. It just makes it a little bit more efficient. And in my opinion, it's cheaper to have rechargeable, because obviously having to go buy batteries every time your batteries go dead, it tends to add up. So having that rechargeable option, I tend to use the Energizer brand. That's just my preference. It doesn't really matter what brand you use, but Um, as far as charging cords and stuff like that goes, I tend to have the cord for recharging my radios. They both charge on micro USB. So having that option is good to have. Now, as far as having pocket juices, having the option to use these is great. However, even after using these tend to go dead. So having an option to charge these off, I always tend to carry an extra wire for these. These ones particularly, they both charge off of C-cord. So having that available, obviously. Another use for charging, having a battery juice or a pocket juice, whatever you want to call it, the cords or the wall charger and stuff like that. That is all good and stuff to have. Another thing I would recommend having for charging if you are out camping and stuff like that is a solar pack. There is so many different varieties of solar packs that are available. I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm gonna put them up on the screen, because honestly, that's something that I would probably forget to actually put on there. But if I get a chance, I might throw a couple options up there. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics for the types and stuff like that. Again, if there's anything that I didn't cover in the video and stuff, feel free, throw it in the comments, and I will be glad to do maybe like a part 2 on this or something, covering more on one or all. If there's anything else that you guys want me to actually get put in, I will be glad to actually make some content on anything that you guys want to know more on, or anything that you want me to cover on. Hit the likes and subscribes. And I do want to give kind of a shout out and stuff, kind of like a memorial to my grandfather, because in all honesty, whenever I started back up on my channel and stuff, I would not have been able to do the parts that I have done without him giving me a little bit of a help here and there, especially with getting some of my equipment like the stand, the mic and stuff like that. He did help me out with all that. And in all honesty, some of the skills and stuff that I've had over the years, I learned a good bit off of him. So a little bit of a remembrance for him. But until next time, Redneck Survival out.